What we are going to do now is taking a look at some resources that might be helpful for us, okay? So, as I mentioned already in the last video, it's important to review the plan of salvation, the centerpiece of the gospel of the good news of Jesus Christ. And there is a good way of doing so by watching the Jesus film. Now, I have put all that is needed to watch that film here in the toolbox. The website is mentioned, and of course the QR codes for the app stores. You can download, stream, you can load it on your smartphone. Everything is for free. It's a wonderful tool, and you can watch it together with friends, especially those who don't know Jesus yet. Why? There are two unique characteristics of this film. First of all, it was produced according to the Gospel of Luke. There is no Hollywood script involved. So it is very close to the biblical text. When you watch it, you really feel like watching the Bible, yeah? And you get a kind of idea what it must have been to walk with Jesus in those days. So I highly recommend this film. The second characteristic is this film is available in 1400 languages and even more. Just imagine that. These guys did an awesome job. This film is used all over the world, and virtually everyone can watch and understand what is said and transferred and communicated in that film. So I highly recommend it, and it's a good tool for yourself and for others. The next thing that you want to do is get yourself a Bible if you haven't done so yet. First of all, for your personal use on a daily basis, I recommend a printed edition of the Bible. But in addition to that, of course, you can spice everything up with some software, packages, apps, whatever. So there are many products out there, and we will look at a small selection of them a little bit later. First of all, I want to give you a short introduction about the most popular Bible translations, okay? So that you get an idea what might fit my personality, what is my need, how can I read the Bible the best way. So the first translation that I want to mention is King James. King James is a very precise translation, and it's close to the original text. I really like that translation as a reference book. When I really want to dive into a verse, just examining what does it really say. The problem is that Bible is not using any contemporary language. It really feels like 19th century or so. So it's not that good for the daily reading of long passages, okay? So you might have to decide what is the benefit and what is the disadvantage. What is very nice, this translation usually is for free when you buy Bible apps or software packages, and it usually comes with a Strong's Concordance. This Strong's Concordance is a kind of dictionary containing several thousand of Hebrew and Greek key words with an English translation and explanation. So even if you don't know the Greek and Hebrew language, which are the basic languages the Bible was written in, then you still can look up that dictionary and you can check on different meanings that a word could have. So you get a very precise idea about the content of a section of the Bible. So that is really a good way of diving into the Bible, studying the Bible. My personal favorite translation is the New King James Bible or New King James Version. It is a kind of more modern development of the King James Bible, derived from the King James Bible, but it uses a more contemporary, more easy to understand language. So, but it still keeps the very closeness to the original text. At least in my view, in my opinion, I think it's very accurate. So I like to read it. Usually it's not for free. That's a problem sometimes. So when you have a Bible app, you won't find a free New King James Version for that Bible app. Usually, if you have a product where you can download additional Bible translation, it comes with cost. Another Bible translation is the NIV, New International Version. This one is very popular among many people. It uses a very contemporary language, so you can really understand it very easily. You can read longer passages very easily. Some people complain a little bit that it would be not that accurate in some areas. I don't know, I like to read it, but sometimes I love to use King James or New King James Version as a kind of reference and comparison in order to compare both versions and to get an idea about the closer meaning of the text. So, nevertheless, it is a very good and recommendable translation and many are happy with it. So another version is the English Standard Version, ESV. This one claims to be very literal in translating the original text, but still using a very contemporary English language. Basically, it's a good alternative for the NIV because in many cases, when you use a Bible app or software package, the ESV is freely available. So it doesn't cost any money. It's freely available in comparison to the NIV. Usually you pay for the NIV. So I sometimes use the ESV and I'm pretty pleased with it. It's not a bad translation. You can get very much out of it and it's very easy to read, especially when you read longer stories or longer passages. Then another version is the Amplified version. Amplified goes back to the American Standard Version, which is a little bit old-fashioned, but it has improved in language. There is one unique characteristic about that translation. It usually is not just using one translation for a word, but in brackets give you some additional wordings what a Hebrew or Greek word could actually mean in addition. So you get a broader view and probably more details about the meaning of the biblical text. Problem, of course, it is that it is a little bit harder to read because you have all these alternative wordings right in the text. So I would recommend it to be used as a reference to compare it with other Bible translations. Then we have the NASB, New American Standard Bible. This one is thought by many to be one of the most literally translated major 20th century English Bible translations, according to Wikipedia. It has improved in language compared to the New King James or King James Version. Some believe it's a really good translation. I have used it once in a while. I cannot really feel that there is a great advantage compared with the New King James Version, but it is a very valuable translation. And even sometimes you find a version that is connected with a Strong's dictionary, so it might be really a helpful resource for you. And last not least, there are a lot of, I would call them modern translations out there. They are of course easy to read because they use very contemporary language, and especially when you read longer passages, it feels like reading a good book, and it's very easy to understand the context. So it has some merit to read one of those translations, especially for instance, I recommend those translations for children, younger people, those who have maybe problems with the English language because it's not their native language. So there are some translations like the NLT, New Living Translation, The Message. Then there are some other translations who are freely available most of the time, like Bible in Basic English, Easy English Bible, and so on. There is a great disadvantage. They are in many cases not very close to the original text. So sometimes they water down the actual meaning of the text, and I would not recommend them as a tool of studying the Bible or just using this Bible as the only Bible. I would recommend adding a Bible app with a translation that is more closer to the original text. But nevertheless, these Bible translations have their advantages, especially when reading longer passages. Don't use them for Bible study purposes and just then go back to a NASB, New King James Version, or even a King James Version to find out the actual precise meaning of a text. Okay, the next thing I want to do is just introduce to you some Bible apps and software packages that you could start with. Of course, this is a very small selection, and it's all about software products that I have used myself, so I can kind of recommend and say something about them. Of course, there are many out there that you can check out for yourself. When you open one of the Google or Apple app stores, you will find many Bible apps that you can use. I just want to introduce 3 different products that could be a good starting point for you to find what fits your needs. First of all, there is eSword, or when you go to Android, there is a clone out there. It's called MySword. Now, eSword or MySword is a Bible package that comes for Windows, for Mac, for iOS, and for Android. So virtually every system that is popular can work with this product. It's a very good offline Bible app because you can download everything and use it offline without any internet connection. You have many translations available for free in English, in German, and of course you can kind of add some translations that are more popular by paying for them, of course. So I really like this product. It's very good, it's usable offline, and it has a lot of features, and you can even download a lot of dictionaries and other reference works that might help you in your daily work with the Word of God. So the second thing is My Bible. My Bible is a product that is available for Android and for iOS, smartphone, iPhone, and iPad. So this one is my personal favorite when it comes to Android, to the Android system. I don't like it when it is used on iOS because it lacks many features. The version is very new, and so they haven't added all the features that are really cherished by users so far, so I don't recommend using it on iOS, but Android version is superb. So you can use everything offline, which is beneficial when you don't have internet access. You have many free translations, and you have more translations than in other apps. I have checked out many apps, and I found in this app I have so many freely available translations. It's really blowing your mind. There are many English translations, German translations, even some very unknown translations, a little bit exotic, but you really find something that fits your need. So you find many Bible reading plans and other resources. I like that app. I have it always with me. As I said, if you have an Apple product like iPhone, iPad, the version for these devices is very limited, so I would rather go to a different product. Then, last not least, I want to show you U version or New Bible. There are different names for this product out there. U version is one of them. So this one is available for almost every device and system out there. You can use it with Windows laptops or PCs. You can use it as a web version, so just using a web browser. You can use it on iOS, Android, BlackBerry. Usually, in order to use all the features, you need to register. So some people like it, some don't. And of course, most of the time it's requiring an internet connection. It has many freely available translations, but the most modern and popular translations are not available for offline download. So when you want to read them, you need an internet connection. That is okay most of the time, but sometimes you don't have internet, and then you can only use offline versions, and you can only download just some of the older Bible translations to your device.